Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. And today, this is going to be our first morning scoop. So this is going to be a morning segment to my YouTube channel. I don't know how often it's going to be. We're going to talk about what's important to me, what I'm kind of looking at right now and thinking about. I just want to express myself and, have a place to say what I think and what I'm working on. So hopefully there's some of you guys out there that will listen, and let's go ahead and dig in. Ever since my last poll video the other day, I have been thinking a lot about hashtag a day off Twitch. I've been thinking a lot about Asmongold's comments that, we're kind of talking about how smaller streamers can't do anything or they can't incite any change. And I've been thinking about LGBT representation in the Final Fantasy franchise as a whole. I know that's a lot. This is just how my mind works, though, is, you see things on the internet and then you kind of stew on them and you think about it, and, you end up making a video now that you've been trying to make for a while, just throwing your thoughts out there. And no matter what you do, it's going to be messy. That's what this is, right? And I wanted to create a space to do that. In particular for, small streamers not being able to achieve anything. I think what we have in the War of the Visions community right now is a community that's been created by small streamers, right? And is a very close-knit community, a very tight community. And War of the Visions would never have survived if it weren't for the small streamers that have covered the game and helped develop the communities, right? And so I think on one side of Asmongold's comments, it's already been disproved that small streamers can't do anything just by our community alone, right? Like, I've had impacts on the game. Umbra, for example, has had impacts on the game with Valentine's Solir. Sorry, Umbra. I had to say it. But the fact that small streamers can't accomplish anything is kind of out the window for me at this point. But it definitely bothered me, and it got me thinking about, my role in the War of the Visions community, my role as a content creator, and my role as a minority content creator, particularly in the way of LGBT. What am I doing to kind of make this a safer space for LGBT people in War of the Visions? And, I would say I have done quite a few things at this point where, I've either stood up to people like Cetra. I have, actively said I was here for the hot men in the first anniversary stream. So, I think people know War of the Visions is a pretty LGBT friendly place. When I think about my role going forward, I really wanted to, think about how I could promote positive change in the War of the Visions community and challenge myself at the same time. Because honestly, there is a certain level of things you can achieve when you are part of a small community like this. And I think being able to impact War of the Visions itself, reach out with Hiroki, reach out with Hirono, right? Is something you can achieve and something that is actually possible, especially with the Fanfest coming up, right? I will be at the 100-person Fanfest on the Zoom call. No doubt I will be eating my popcorn, waiting for it to either be hacked or for other people to start screaming, right? I imagine it's probably going to be a hot mess, the whole way through and through. But I would really, when I think about the question I want to ask, I really want to ask them about LGBT representation in Final Fantasy and whether they have any plans for War of the Visions to include an LGBT character. And I have a feeling most of their response would probably be, we want you to, take the ambiguousness of a character and kind of make it your own, right? But I really want, to see an LGBT character in Final Fantasy, not only for myself, but for other people. And I think, I think it's one of those things where it would be really easy to do, and it doesn't even have to be big. It could be like a little side note on the card. It could be a little, you know, a little mention in the storyline. Final Fantasy XIV did it in a really good way where they had kind of 2 NPCs as part of a side quest, and in the dialogue between the NPCs, those were, you know, technically the first same-sex couple in a Final Fantasy franchise. And while there's always been, you know, questions, especially with like Fang and Vanille, since Fang used to be a male in the original character design, the theories behind Sabin, which I think are really funny. You know, Mayakov from Final Fantasy XI, there's never really been a openly visible LGBT character in the franchise. And, you know, I want to ask about that. I want to ask Hiroki or Hirono if I get the opportunity. I might not. You know, where is that representation? Where is, you know, why wouldn't you create this? Or, you know, is this a cultural thing? Is this something where, you know, the LGBT community is underrepresented in Japan? Is this a global thing? Are there communities Square Enix distributes to where a condition for distribution would be no same-sex couples, right? That could absolutely be a condition for distribution in a country, I imagine. So there's a lot of questions I have in terms of, you know, where is this representation at? Would they be willing to even make an LGBT character? You know, would they even be willing to make any type of a character? These are the types of things that I think about. And, you know, when I think about what I could do or what potential impact I could have, you know, I kind of want to prove Asmongold wrong again. I want to continue proving that small streamers can continue to impact the Final Fantasy community. And I would love to try and create an LGBT character. So hopefully, you know, if any of you guys else are going to the fan meeting this weekend, you guys will, you know, if I don't get a chance to ask a question, maybe you can ask the question, and hopefully we'll get maybe a good answer. Maybe we'll be able to understand the way Square Enix does global business a little bit better. Maybe we'll be able to ask, you know, is this something you can do for us, right? And that small thing, that ability to change something so small could have a huge impact on the LGBT community that is quite present in War of the Visions, right? So that's what I'm thinking about right now. What else is on my mind? A little less heavy, I would say. I'm thinking a lot about critical hit rate Tifa. It seems like almost all of my comments and my questions right now are relating to critical hit rate Tifa, or, you know, people are getting like super stoked about critical hit rate Tifa. And I feel like, you know, critical hit rate Tifa is just better than assault Tifa. I don't know what to tell you. I put her VC on, put crit Kaiser Knuckles on, and I think you're gonna be fine. You know, it's one of those situations where everybody is asking me about it. I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers on a debate between like plus 36 attack versus plus 25 crit. It would be really cool to have the intersect of crit and attack plotted out, but I imagine you would have to plot it out for every individual character, which could be potentially very annoying. But it's one of those things that keeps coming up in stream, you know, on, you know, YouTube comments, and I'm really loving the, you know, the engagement and hearing from you and listening to this. It's really, you know, it gives me something to kind of actively churn on the War of the Visions brain. Other things I'm thinking about right now, maybe not specifically War of the Visions, you know, oriented, is I'm playing a bunch of different games. And, you know, you've seen me play Humankind on stream. I just got back into Cyberpunk 2077 because I wanted to see if it wasn't as bugged as it was when I first started playing it, because it kind of ruined the experience for me, and I'm not sold on it yet. Give me another couple days and maybe I'll check back with you on it. It's one of those things where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna give it another couple more hours here. The car still feels a little jank. You know, we're in, like, I can't pick up an item that I can clearly see, and that happened like 3 times. So I'm not sold yet, but I'm also like, it's a lot smoother than it was. So that's what I'm thinking about currently. Pixel Remaster comes out on the 8th, which I'm really excited for. Thinking about the YouTube channel a lot, whether or not I'll be continuing to stream on YouTube and Twitch or just YouTube. I know Oron J is having this conversation right now, but there's so many members of my audience that are on YouTube that, you know, so many people have more access to me when I stream on YouTube versus streaming on Twitch. The question does come down to support, right? Will people continue to support me on YouTube, or is that financial support really going to come from Twitch? And I think we will see that in the coming, you know, months as I kind of try and juggle both. The reality is, though, like, there is not much financial support on the Twitch side. There has been in the past, but my Twitch channel made like $350 last time. Most of my money comes from my sponsorship, my Amazon coins, my YouTube. And so it makes sense to me to maybe lean in a little bit more on the YouTube side and maybe dial back the Twitch. But we want to recognize all the people who have subscribed to me on Twitch for a long time. So I haven't figured out how to balance that yet, because streaming on both is, you know, you can do it, but it gets messy. I'm also thinking about different types of content right now. I want to make content that's not repetitive. I want to make content that people will listen to me on, and I'm not sure what that is, right? I want to, like, part of me wonders if you guys just want to hear me talk sometimes, right? I have considered this morning scoop segment to be like every morning, where I just talk about something else, what's going on in the world, you know, gaming related, what's happening, what I would be interested in. And that might be the direction that I head, is kind of covering, you know, gaming news in my morning scoop, and kind of, you know, what I'm thinking about in regards to that. And, you know, maybe I'll drop in some War of the Visions info, but then maybe my afternoon video will be War of the Visions related. So I'm not sure. Mainly, I just wanted to give this a try for the first time. I wanted to see if there were people that would listen to this, watch this, you know, make it to this point in the video. And yeah, I would say leave a comment down below. I think when I have previously watched content like this, I really think about like Total Biscuit. I think about, you know, people who would just go up in front of people and more or less just do a monologue talking about what's going on in the current world. Stephen Colbert is very reminiscent, right? Where he just kind of gets up and talks, and that's kind of what I want to do with this morning scoop. But I don't know if people care about that, so let me know down in the comment section down below how you would like to see this different, if you would like to see it maybe broken down into different segments, and let me know. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. Oh, I'm on a different, here you go.